Well, here we are, a familiar location for many people here in Dubois County. As you all probably remember, we were here a little while back when the Wollenmann House was under construction. Now we're closing in on the end of the process. The work's all been pretty well complete, and once again we've brought Ed Talucci back to talk more about it. So, Ed, looking at the outside, boy, a lot's happened in the time since we were here last.
Right. The last time you were here, the windows were out. I don't think there was a floor on the front porch. Of course, it wasn't painted. These posts, I'm not even sure if they were here the last time. This has all been replaced as part of the restoration of the house. The underlayment and the supports under the porch has all been replaced. All of the siding has been replaced since you were here last. These posts were reinforced and the foundations were taken down to the bricks you see underneath there, the stone foundation. All of this has been custom cut to follow the original design that was here on the front porch and on the balconies up there. And the painting follows pretty much the colors that we identified that were originally here. There was a lot more trim color on it. It looked like it was probably a green trim that outlined a lot of this fancy work here. But because we were limited in the funds we had to limit how elaborate it was going to be. So we felt that this was a good contemporary color combination, but it also reflected what was there originally. It's hard to see from here when we walk to the side. There's a red beltway around the house, and when we got into the attic and looking at the old colors that were under the roof at the back of the house with the new addition, that beltway was actually a red and white candy stripe is what it looked like, but that was in honor of the Swiss flag. Dr. Wollenmann, who built the house, was from Switzerland, and that was a typical motif that you would see. You'll see especially the shutters on houses in Switzerland that have that red and white stripe on them, and that's to honor the Swiss flag. So, but we thought this would be easier and not to look so cotton candy, like it was a toy house or something. We wanted to reflect the actual heritage of the house and the heritage of Dr. Wollenmann.
So looking up there, though, looks like you guys did a lot of research, though, not just with the building, but you had to do a lot of research to find what exactly you were looking for when you redid the house.
Sure, we did that, and we had old photos, and there's still family members living, and they could give us ideas of what the house looked like when they were children here. They're all retired now, actually, but this is pretty much the actual colors of the house, and all of this is part of the restoration. For the audience, I don't know if people remember this, but we did receive a federal grant through the state to do the exterior restoration, to do wiring, and actually also to replace a wall that was caving in the new addition in the basement. So that was all taken care of. And also to take out all of these windows. Every one of those was taken out, and the scrape down and the glass was preserved. That's all the original glass. When we go in and look out, you can see it's the wavy glass. All of that was restored, repainted, and reinstalled, and that was all part of that original grant we got. So we're very, very happy with the way it turned out. And if you come by here in the evening, this is all lighted now. There's the lights behind that railing up there and on the porch. It's just lovely in the evening.
Yeah, no, the front of the house does look good. So here we go now. We're going to take our time walking around here. You can see the front steps as well.
Right, that's to be done yet. Obviously, that's falling apart there. That's to be replaced, and there was a walkway that went out here to the street too, and there are bricks under here. We were going to take those up and restore that walkway out there. We have some concepts anyway of what we'd like to put here. So one group, VFW, I think it is, was going to put a flagpole out here. We'd like to make this the center of the town. The town's probably going to put up the Christmas tree here, so we have big plans in store. We have, as we walk around the back too, part of the bricks that we're putting out here. These bricks will be etched to commemorate the Wollenmann family and those descendants from Dr. Wollenmann. It'll be almost like a family tree, and there will be a chronology with the various years from the beginning of the house to the present, and different things that happened with the World War I and World War II, that sort of thing. So you get an idea of who was alive, who was born, what was going on in the history of the house. And we also, in the back, we'll see the patio. We have bricks that we're selling to raise money for the house, and you can commemorate anybody you want to in those. They're etched and they'll be inlaid. There's some of them out there, but we hope to sell more of those too.
So we'll head that direction now. Looking at the front of the house again, there's the way up top, the candy stripe element with the red on the bottom.
Right. Another thing I'm proud of, these are all brand new gutters. Of course, this is modern technology, so it won't rust out, but this reflects what was here originally with the original guttering on here, but that's all low maintenance now. So.
Yeah, low maintenance always helps.
Low maintenance. One of the things too, every one of these called fish scales were taken off of here. We went down to the original woodwork underneath all of this and wrapped it, insulated it, and then put these brand new, and every one of these was individually stained and every one of them was individually nailed up there. But all of that was restored as part of the grant. We were just amazed. You see this board along the bottom here. When the contractor, Pat Sager, who got the original award, tore all of this away, it was just amazing how little damage there was. There was very little, well, we didn't find any termites except in maybe one board next to where the bathroom was, and that probably was because of dry rot. But down through here, nothing. It was just astonishing that the house was in as good a shape as it is. Now the floor here, since it was the actual flooring was up, it made sense to go ahead and restore those beams underneath there. But remarkably well built and well preserved over the years.
So now here we are coming to the back. The sidewalk here got some bricklaying done here.
Right, this is what I was telling you about. Now maybe not through here, but you see these etched bricks out here? Here's examples of these commemorative bricks that we're going to sell. These have been inlaid, but these can be lifted and others can be inserted in here. One of the other things that we're envisioning here is using this patio for concerts, entertainment. Also, we hope to eventually have some sort of food service here, so we could use this patio to serve food out here. We have a landscape design out here that incorporates a pergola out here. We were thinking about maybe having grapevines out here, because there were originally grapevines here as part of probably every house in Ferdinand at one time had that sort of thing. Actually, right there outside that back door, there was, because this was not here, this was the addition I was telling you about, and it was this wall through here that was reinforced. But coming out the back of the house, about where the door is, there was a summer kitchen. We've seen that in pictures too. So we hope to get another sort of a utility building out here. You see these bricks and all. Some of these things were taken up and some of them are ones that were brought out here to complete the landscaping. And we have put some plants in out here that you see, but we were going to wait till fall to actually complete the landscaping because of, well, it's been a wonderful summer, but it usually doesn't work that way. So we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of rainfall to get the plants started and all. And we threw out some grass seed out here, and it's just remarkable. We didn't really expect that to happen, but lots of plants to go out here, and the plants that were put in here were all plants that would have been used when the house was built. Something that any heirloom plants, they're called, the kinds of roses that would be available then, the kinds of flowers you would see in a garden at that time.
Long-lasting plants as we start walking this direction here.
Right. You see, well, here's some spices here, and the daylilies, that sort of thing, the ground cover, all of those would be typical of that era. So there were, I don't know if you recall, there was a window here that was taken out to incorporate or accommodate the appliances that we'll see when we get inside too. But otherwise, everything's pretty much the same. There was one window in a bathroom. The bathroom was an addition some years after the house was built, so that window was taken out to show what the house originally looked like. But all the other windows and the doors, all of those were here.
So we're going to walk in here now. Ed's going to lead me in, and this is where the transformation has really happened a lot.
If you look at the old picture, I think when you were here, maybe all of these walls were out. It was probably down to the wood on the outside, and you could see daylight through there. All of this was taken out. There was a wall through here with cabinets, and of course the old cabinets that were here from when the family was here. We took that ceiling out there, took it down to the beams, and put lighting in there. Those windows that you see over there actually reflect the size of the windows that were originally put in here. And we discovered as we were tearing out the walls that smaller windows had been put in. There was a door over there that's been removed. So this really opens up this room. And this back patio here is accessible now with these double French doors. So this will be a main entrance and exit, especially if we have food service here. We'll have tables here and tables and chairs outside. And all of these cabinets, this was all donated by Master Brand. And Tom's Appliances gave us these, didn't give us the appliances, but they gave it, let us purchase those at their cost. And Sherwin-Williams did the paint. They donated that for us. Home Depot sent volunteers. We've had a lot of support. Debbie Baglin gave us her services as a designer. She's the one who did all of this layout for us, all the sketching, down to what kind of drawer pulls we would use. So it was just invaluable in her help for us. And I think Martha Stewart could probably use this place and be really happy with it. I'm just very, very pleased with the way it turned out. We're all actually jealous and want to live here now, so very, very happy. And it was designed with a food service, light food service in mind, so that's why you see this layout here. We may put an island here, had different thoughts, but we wanted to make it available so we could modify it as we needed to.
This will be a good tourism opportunity.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. We have a grant from the Du Bois County Tourism, and we'll see as we go in the other room. There's a kiosk there. They're going to pay us rent to have the kiosk here. It's a computer system where you can come in and access, get information on local activities and sites to visit and all. So that will be in that other room there.
Yeah. And then turn around a little bit here. You see back there on that wall the chalk sign already up. Welcome to the W.
Right, yeah, that was put on there. Actually, that came from the old Gentryville school. When they tore that down, somebody donated all of that slate to us, and we were actually hoping to use that as commemorative plaques that can be etched. And it's Hoosier Laser Graphics who's doing the bricks for us, and they told us they could actually etch that too. So that's going to be a combination, nostalgia and recognizing another historical site that's been part of the area over the years. So, and you see that wall there, that we just left exposed. We didn't put drywall over that to give folks an idea of what the construction of the house is. Those boards there, you can see, you do not find wood like that anymore. And underneath that, if you look closely, the exterior walls were all bricks underneath there. That was part of fire control and insulation and all. And the part that I pointed out outside, when we stripped all of that down to that layer there, those cracks were all filled with caulking, and then it was wrapped with the waterproofing wrap that you see around new construction anyway. And then over that went all of that fish scale siding that you see outside. So.
And right there next to it, we have a lot of people to thank and certainly some sponsors to thank.
Right, I know. It's amazing. I'm sorry that I couldn't list everybody, but if anybody comes over and takes a look at the house, they can see the kind of corporate and individual support we've had. It's just been very, very edifying for how the community came out to support us with this effort. I'm just very, very grateful for that. And you see a wide range of different kinds of businesses, different individuals who sent in contributions, and we've had them from $1 to, well, $10,000 we've had. So it's a nice range. It's a good reflection of the community we have and the spirit we have here in Du Bois County.
Okay. Let's head this direction. You were pointing back towards this way here. I'm going to go by the welcome to the W sign one more time, but I'll kind of let you lead.
Yeah, well, you might catch too, all of these floors, of course, had carpeting and linoleum, layers of linoleum and felt and adhesive. We didn't think we would ever get that up, but as you see, they're just beautiful. It's astonishing at how well preserved these were underneath all of those layers. I suppose that's what contributed to that preservation.
So hardwood was original?
Yes, it was, all of this. Of course, we are in the addition now. There is a basement underneath here, and this was kind of their family room. That was the kitchen and the family area here. And it was this wall primarily that you can't see in the basement. They dug out the whole outside there, pulled all that dirt out of there, reinforced that wall, put new drainage in, backfilled it with gravel and all, and then filled it back in. There are steel beams that are reinforcing the wall down there. But that structurally was really the only problem we had, and this is the new part of the house. The old part and all those old stones you saw as the foundation, all of that's just in perfect shape, just excellent shape. So, right. The one area I told you where we found, the only damage that we found, this room here was a new bathroom that the family had put in, and I suppose it was because of moisture. The only real damage that we found was maybe from here down to the sill and maybe a foot over into the sill. Kind of dry rot. It looked like maybe there had been termites or something, and I suppose because of humidity. But otherwise, all of this wood was just in perfect shape. The floors, everything. It's just astonishing. This bathroom, was here. The family put this in, and because this is going to be commercial, we had to make it handicap accessible. And we had volunteers who put in, if you can see here, all of this is new. And volunteers put in all of this tile to try to reflect what would have been a contemporary design at the time the house was built. You know, any time we could reflect what it was, we tried to do that. In the same way with the colors that were chosen, all of these would have been colors that probably could have been used at that time. They weren't the colors that were here, but they would have been colors that would have been familiar to people in 1903 when the house was built. And you see there, those covers there are probably heating stoves in here. This chimney's new. When they added central heating, that was put in here. This was the winter kitchen. You can't imagine that there'd be about a dozen kids in the family and friends who would cook a meal in here, and there was a table in here at one time. Of course, this was the dining room over here, but and there was a stairway that went up there to take even more floor space away. So, and this is the kiosk I told you about. We found an old picture of actually a room in the house that was here before this one was built, and there was a cabinet that looked almost exactly like this, and we're going to put the tourism computer in here. Figure this is kind of an unused and unusable space because it's cut out with this, but this way we'll have tourist information, brochures, and that sort of thing here. We hope, as well as a business that we hope to get in here, we want to make this a welcoming center for Du Bois County, well, all of southern Indiana, with all the visitors we have for the holiday world in particular, coming here in the summertime. So, yeah.
Not far down the road, obviously.
Not far down the road, no.
So, rolling back this direction here, we've been in here before. Again, we got the windows in now, got these nice doors.
See how all of this was gone when you were here. It seemed like we were dealing with the hammers and the drills and all that sort of thing in the last interview. This door was widened. Of course, they had to knock out bricks to get that done, to widen that a bit. And this is much brighter than when you were here before with these paint colors. And part of the grant covered any asbestos or lead abatement. Surprisingly, the only asbestos that we had in the house was in the original glazing of these windows. So that's one of the reasons, which it worked out just great. They took the windows out and took all that glazing out, reglazed it, cleaned up the glass, and put them back in. They cleaned up all of the hardware. That was part of the grant restoration dollars. And the storm windows, that was also part of it. They're wonderful windows. these double old windows that get open here. There we go. They obviously aren't very well insulated. They didn't have to worry about that so much. I guess they were used to being cold. But the new storm windows will be part of the temperature control here. We got a big grant from Vectron to do the heating and the air conditioning. It's both upstairs and downstairs. It's individually controlled. And
got to save energy.
Got to save energy. Well, that was part, actually, our plans in doing that were part of the grant application. We had to demonstrate that we had taken that into consideration. And with these windows and the new exterior storm windows, that satisfied that requirement. Talking about heating and air conditioning, this was the original fireplace, and it was going to be coal probably. And it would serve as a heat sink. As the fire was burning in there, those bricks would heat up and then radiate that heat through the night. So. And we've changed a little bit around here. We did a little cosmetic stuff to the chimney there. But all of the beams, everything you see, this is just exactly the way it was, except for the colors. That's different. And when we were here, I think this floor was probably uncovered, but I think every other floor had some sort of a covering on it. But you see, with very little work, just how beautiful these floors turned out to be. It's astonishing. The woodwork, all of it. We didn't do too much. We spruced it up a little bit, but we didn't have to strip. We didn't have to refinish anything. It was in very, very good shape.
So now we're going to walk upstairs here. These are looking nice as well.
Redone. This was spruced up a bit. We didn't do any real stripping or anything. It was just kind of cleaned up and a light finish put over the top of it, but we didn't have to really refinish. We put this window in here to give us a little more light. It was cavernous as you came up here, and that was typical of that era, though. But it's now open and bright. And
as we come up now, take a little look around. There is plenty of light being emitted.
Yeah, isn't this great? This is just wonderful. Oops, excuse me. These rooms were where the kids stayed, and you see they're bright. They're open. It's just a charming space, I think. Now, these rooms had been painted over the years. One was pink and one was blue. You may recall that. But again, using colors that would have been contemporary to that time, we painted this, spruced it up, painted the floors here. Rather than refinish these, we weren't sure what we'd use this space for up here. But I'm delighted with it. It's so bright, and I wanted to live here, but I have my own house, sorry.
Right, now this is a very livable looking place. Got the thermostat here on the wall.
Right,
set
that's
to
part of that Bradford award. If you step around the corner here, we had to put the heating and air conditioning in this room here. I hated to give up the space in this window, but when we got over here to do the installation of this, we were going to put it in the attic, but the unit's too big to get up the stairs, so that's why we had to position it here. And it's nice to have air conditioning in here.
Modern touches.
Modern touches, right. And speaking of modern touches, we go straight through there. This was, I think, probably the first indoor bathroom in Ferdinand here. So they had, apparently there was a reservoir of some sort, a tank in the attic, and where they pumped, somehow they got water up there, and then it just by gravity flowed down here into this bathtub. And this is the original bathtub. We've moved things around a bit here. There were cabinets and shelves, and it wasn't this open when we bought the place, but that's original, so, yeah, and usable.
Usable. Key factor. What was up here?
That's the attic, and you can go up there if you want. We've insulated up there and put wiring in there, because they took wiring across and dropped it down. All of this has been completely rewired. Wire Electric here in Indianapolis did that, and very reasonably as part of their contribution to the project. So, yeah. All of it's up to code now. Everything is the spacing and the voltage and all of that. I'm sure I don't know a lot about that, but all of that was required since we used federal money to do the restoration of this house. Is very strict in what we had to adhere to in the specifications. And this was a bedroom, and huge rooms, just charming, I think. This was all redone. The balcony, you wouldn't want to stand on it very long anyway. All of that was taken off, all of that was restored and painted, and you see the lighting that's out there now. And this was a closet space and the window or the door that goes out to the balcony.
Now as we return to the back patio area, again we've got the bricks commemorating people, and as we wrap up here, Ed, one more time, a lot of people went into this effort.
A lot of community support, and as I may be repeating myself, but all of the businesses and the individuals who contributed to this, it's just been very, very uplifting, edifying. I'm very proud of everybody involved in this to preserve this building. It's a treasure. I was so afraid if the building went that this whole hill would go. They would have scraped this away to make it that level down there, probably for commercial property. So it's been a treasure preserve for all of us, and I hope long after I'm gone that this building is still standing here and people are still dazzled by how pretty it is, how charming the place is. Thank you very much for letting me talk to you about it. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time. Obviously, a lot to be proud of with the Wollenmann House. And that's been our talk with Ed Talucci about the Wollenmann House and what's been done since we were here last. We'll be back after this.